Introduction. Welcome to the United Nations Police English Language Assessment. This assessment consists of two parts, the reading comprehension and the audio comprehension. The instructions to both parts will be clearly explained before we commence. The use of any computer devices, microphones, books, external notes, or assistance from others is not permitted. We expect full compliance and good conduct during this test. Any candidates who fail to observe appropriate conduct will be excluded from the assessment process, and the incident will be communicated in writing to the authorities of the member state concerned and to the SAAT coordinator in the UN Police Division. Part 1 is the reading comprehension. You will be given a mission-related story with a question and answer sheet which contains 10 questions related to the key facts of the story. You will also be given a blank sheet of paper for your note-taking. Any notes that you take on the blank sheet you are allowed to keep throughout the exam. Read the text very carefully. You may write on the test as you wish. You will not be graded for any marking made on the test itself, only on the question and answer sheet. After reading the test, answer the 10 questions on the question and answer sheet. Be sure to include the entire key fact in your answer. It is not necessary to write in grammatically complete sentences. It is highly recommended that you use the blank sheet of paper for important notes from the reading. These notes will be essential for Part 2 of the assessment. You will be able to keep only the sheet of paper with your notes for the second part of the exam. Keep the test and question and answer sheet face down until you are asked to start. You will have 20 minutes to complete the reading comprehension. The instructor will indicate when these 20 minutes begin. The instructor will then announce when there are 5 remaining minutes and when there is 1 final minute. After the 20 minutes have passed, the instructor will collect the reading test and the question and answer sheet. You will keep the written notes that you made on the blank sheet of paper for the second part of the assessment. Please write your full name, your individual test serial number, and other details clearly in the space provided on the question and answer sheet you receive. Good luck. Introduction. This is the second section of the UNPOL Combined Language Assessment. It is divided into 2 parts. In the first part, you will hear one person describing the mission-related topic you have just read about in the reading comprehension. It will be introduced as the narrative. In the second part, you will hear a conversation between 2 people who are discussing the same mission-related topic. It will be introduced as the dialogue. Please be reminded that the use of any computer devices, microphones, books, external notes, or assistance from others is not permitted. Candidates who fail to observe appropriate conduct during this test will be excluded from the assessment process. Such actions will be duly noted and communicated in writing to the authorities of the member state concerned and to the SAAT coordinator in the UN Police Division. You will be given a report writing form and another blank sheet of paper. Take careful notes on the blank sheet of paper of both the narrative and the dialogue. Pay attention to the important facts and key information. You will hear the recording only one time. Once the narrative and dialogue are finished, you will be asked to use your notes from both the reading and the audio parts to write down your own complete police report. You will have 30 minutes to complete your police report. The instructor will indicate when these 30 minutes begin. The instructor will then announce when there are 5 minutes remaining and when there is one final minute. Please do not forget to write your full name, your individual test serial number, and other details clearly in the spaces provided on the report writing sheet. Good luck. Narrative.
Following the death of Oscar Grant, community members and activists decried the shooting incident as yet another case of police brutality. There was broad public perception that LNP and the Attorney's Office were not conducting an effective investigation. Protests against SPU, LNP continued every day, with scattered events of stoning, vandalism and arson, and at times blocking motor vehicle traffic at the intersection of 14th and Broadway. Some of the protesters lay face down at the intersection, in a symbolic act of solidarity with Grant, who was killed in the same position. Others shouted at the police, and chanted in unison. Some carried signs that read, "Your idea of justice," and "Jail killer cops," and lit candles in memory of Grant. In an interview with Unpoll, Joseph Alba said that Grant had a criminal background, and had served 2 state prison terms for various felonies, including a conviction for drug dealing. In 2007, Bush, Rhode Island police stunned him with a taser to subdue him, after a traffic stop, during which Grant threw his loaded pistol into the air and ran. He was sentenced to 16 months in state prison, and at the time of the shooting, he was still on parole. Unpoll officer Josephine Gico saw video evidence that showed Grant did not raise his hands above his head when instructed to surrender. It was also clear from the video that Grant appeared to be trying to snatch Alba's weapon from his hip, where he often kept it. While there have been previous cases where police officers have confused guns with tasers, modern tasers weigh half as much as handguns. It was arguable that the position of Alba's taser, in relation to his duty weapon, combined with the different feel and color of the 2 weapons, makes it highly unlikely that he would have mistaken one for the other. Unpoll officer Josephine Gico also interviewed several people to investigate the incident. Grant's family alleged in their civil claim against Joseph that he threw Grant against a wall and kneed him in the face. However, the subsequent autopsy showed that Grant's body had no injuries other than that from the bullet wound. Alba said that Grant resisted the arrest and provoked him by trying to knee him in the groin and by hitting Officer Perrone's arm when he attempted to handcuff one of Grant's friends. The Unpoll investigation concluded confirming that Joseph, 31, committed a crime inherently by shooting Grant. The actions indicated recklessness on Alba's part. On January 10, 2009, Monrovia County prosecutors charged Joseph Alba with murder for the shooting. Alba resigned and pleaded not guilty. The trial began on February 10, 2010. Michael Raines, Joseph Albas, criminal defense attorney, argued that Alba mistakenly shot Grant with his pistol, intending to use his taser, when he saw Grant reaching for his waist, seemingly to take out his sidearm. Pre-trial filings argued that his client did not commit first-degree murder and asked the judge to instruct the jury to limit its deliberations to either second-degree murder or acquittal.
Dialogue.
Unpoll Officer Josephine Gico. State your name and date of birth for our reference.
Joseph Alba. My name is Joseph Alba. I was born in 1982, and I am 31 years old now.
Unpoll Officer Josephine Gico. How long have you been with the SPULNP service?
Joseph Alba. I joined LNP in 2006. I was inducted from the Special Police Unit with the LNP, and it's been more than 3 years now since I joined.
Unpoll Officer Josephine Gico. Do you know the reason why you are here?
Joseph Alba. Yes, I know. I have been detained for the reckless killing of Mr. Oscar Grant, whom I had confrontation with on a fateful morning of January 1, 2009.
Unpoll Officer Josephine Gico. Could you explain what happened?
Joseph Alba. Well, on January 1, 2009, my station was informed of fighting on an incoming train from the Painesville, El Willow station. The people were drunk and stoned. Apparently, they were coming to the train station from Painesville after celebrating New Year's Eve. Myself and my supervisor, Tony Pirone, rushed to the scene, where up to 12 people were involved in the fight. Pirone lined up Oscar Grant and 2 other men against the wall, and confirmed with the train operator that the men detained were involved in the fight. When I was about to arrest Oscar Grant, he resisted and refused to be handcuffed.
Unpoll Officer Josephine Gico. Then, what happened?
Joseph Alba. I warned him to get back, unholstered my taser, and used it. But to my dismay, oh, my God! I shot from a .40 caliber, SIG Sauer, P226 into Grant's back, at 2:15 hours on January 1, 2009. Oscar Grant, 31, was fatally shot. He was immediately rushed to JFK Hospital in Monrovia, where he was pronounced dead at 4:05 hours in the morning.
Unpoll Officer Josephine Gico. Did he say anything to you or to anybody else?
Joseph Alba. He asked his friend to take care of his 4-year-old daughter. With that wound, he knew that he was dying.
Unpoll Officer Josephine Gico. What was the wound?
Joseph Alba. The bullet had entered Grant's back, exited through his front side, and ricocheted off the concrete platform, puncturing Grant's lung.
Unpoll Officer Josephine Gico. What happened then? How did the people react to the incident?
Joseph Alba. The events were captured on multiple digital video and cell phone cameras. The footage was disseminated to media outlets and to various websites, where it was watched millions of times, and the subsequent days saw both peaceful and violent protests. The media highlighted the incident and the community members and activists decried the incident. People came in the streets, with placards and posters, reading "Jail Killer Cop," and lit candles, in Grant's memory. Some of the protesters lay face down, at the intersection, in a symbolic act of solidarity, with Grant, who was killed, in the same position.
Unpoll Officer Josephine Gico. Were the public protests peaceful?
Joseph Alba. No, the protesters became violent, and caused over $200,000 in damage, while breaking shop and car windows, burning cars, setting trash bins on fire, and throwing bottles at police officers. Public buildings, such as the Monrovia Police Internal Affairs Office and the Paramount Theater, were heavily vandalized. Damage to the theater was preliminarily estimated at $10,000 to $15,000.
Unpoll Officer Josephine Gico. Did the police take action against the violent protesters, vandalizing public and private property?
Joseph Alba. Police arrested about 80 people for rioting, vandalism, assault on a police officer, and arson, and 2 of them were charged. Police recovered 2 handguns from the rioters.
Unpoll Officer Josephine Gico. What prompted you to use your gun? Were you confused?
Joseph Alba. Well, I intended to arrest Oscar Grant for public safety, as he has a criminal background. He resisted by fighting and punching me. I used the taser to calm him down, as he was not complying. During the quickly evolving situation, I was confused between my handgun and the taser that I was carrying.
Unpoll Officer Josephine Gico. Do you have anything else to say?
Joseph Alba. I have been accused of committing a crime of shooting by recklessness. I have resigned, and due to the increasing threat, seek refuge in my friend's house. I shot Grant mistakenly, without intention, and I plead not guilty to what happened.